I'm Dr. Megan McNeal. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist. Please watch the following video with caution. As usual, it contains descriptions of violence and homicide. In 2018, a man named Sean Maki woke to find his father severely beaten, lying in a pool of his own blood, and left for dead. Emergency personnel arrived. They rushed Mr. Maki's father to the hospital, where he spent several weeks in intensive care, and then he was transferred to a skilled nursing facility, where he continued to recover from the injuries. 2 months later, after he'd healed from the assault, Mr. Maki's father died. Without examining the body or the medical records showing he had healed from the injuries, the medical examiner determined the cause of death was blunt force trauma and ruled it a homicide. Mr. Maki was arrested and charged with murder. This is a fairly complicated case, and if you want more information and more detail about it, please go to my YouTube or Substack page to watch the full video. After Mr. Maki's father was taken to the hospital, police interviewed Sean Maki for about 4 hours. He talked about his father showing signs of dementia, like using the corner of the bedroom to urinate and defecate. Mr. Maki had put a bucket in the room so that his father would use that instead of using the bedroom as a toilet. At one point, Sean Maki gave his father some food that his father didn't like, and he returned the plate to Sean Maki with a pile of his own feces on it. Mr. Maki was his father's caretaker because no one else in the family wanted to be around his father, who had been abusive towards Mr. Maki and his siblings all throughout their childhood and into their adulthood. He'd been violent toward Mr. Maki's mother, who had obtained a divorce many years prior. She described Mr. Maki's father as having an explosive temper, that he was a raging alcoholic, that he was physically aggressive, and he had once shot out the glass window in their home. Everyone in the family was afraid of him, except for Sean Maki. Despite his father's violence, Sean Maki maintained a relationship with him. It was noted that his father became even more violent when he had been drinking, and his father tended to drink most days. His father also smoked a pack of cigarettes every day, and he had a lot of medical problems related to his decades-long use of alcohol and nicotine, including congestive heart failure and emphysema. Mr. Maki took his father to medical appointments, but as the dementia increased, the less interest his father had in going, and so they went to fewer and fewer appointments. During his interrogation with the police officers, Mr. Maki had several different theories about what had happened. He told police his father might have injured himself because his behavior had become more erratic lately. His father also had had a long-standing conflict with some neighbors who had been illegally hunting on the land, and Mr. Maki suspected that perhaps one of them had snuck into the house in the middle of the night and attacked his father. There was a bloodied shovel handle left at the scene, and that appeared to have been the weapon used to beat Mr. Maki's father, and it had recently been cleaned. The police described Mr. Maki as acting strange. They said he was kind of odd or weird. Mr. Maki is a complicated man and not a particularly sympathetic defendant. He's very bright. He'd worked much of his career in information technology, but he can't hold a job very well because he gets into conflict with other people. He had a number of failed romantic relationships. He wasn't close with anyone in his family. People described him as socially awkward or oblivious. In some cases, people described him as a self-absorbed asshole. Mr. Maki also had a drinking problem. On the morning he saw his father on the floor, lying in a pool of his blood, Mr. Maki didn't think much of it at first. He went out to the store to buy beer for him and his father, which that was a regular pattern for him. He gets to the store and he becomes frustrated with the clerk because the beer he likes is out of stock, and then he gets into an argument with the clerk about how poorly they're running the business. Then he goes to a different store to buy the beer he likes, all while his father is lying on the floor dying. Mr. Maki then returned home. He checked on his father and sees he's not gotten up, so he calls his brother's friend to ask what he should do. The friend tells him to call 911, and Mr. Maki says, "I can't afford an ambulance." The friend offers to pay for it, at which point Mr. Maki calls for an ambulance. The fire department and police officers also showed up, at which point Mr. Maki said, "I only wanted an ambulance," and he refused to let anyone in the home for quite some time. All of this information was used in trial to portray Mr. Maki as callous and cold-blooded. Some of what explains Mr. Maki's behavior is that he has autism spectrum disorder, and that can affect his social awareness. He can miss obvious social cues, like he will talk at length about information that's really interesting to him, but not very interesting to other people in the room, or perhaps not relevant to the conversation at hand. His disorder can affect his ability to navigate challenging social situations, or how to ask for help, or to even recognize that he needs help in certain situations. Mr. Maki never should have been taking care of his father, especially without any support or respite services, but no one else was willing to do it. When Mr. Maki's father was living on his own in squalor, no other family members were helping. Only Mr. Maki was the one bringing him food or taking him to medical appointments, and then Mr. Maki moved his father into his own home. Mr. Maki was the least capable person in his family to take care of his father, and yet he was the one to take on the responsibility. And at no point did it occur to Mr. Maki that perhaps his father belonged in an adult foster care home or a memory care facility. He didn't even consider it as a possible option. The prosecutors believed that Mr. Maki got angry with his father and beat him with the shovel handle because he was just tired of dealing with him. Caregiver burnout is a real phenomenon, and it can certainly happen to people who are overwhelmed, exhausted, frustrated with caring for loved ones who have severe physical and mental health impairments. Mr. Maki said that wasn't the case. He adamantly denied harming his father and said if it had happened, he didn't remember doing it, though he also acknowledged he'd been drinking that night. The likely scenario is that his father had been drinking, became violent, which was the norm, and Mr. Maki used the shovel handle to beat his father a few times and then went to his bed and passed out. We won't ever know, and if Mr. Maki actually remembers, he isn't telling anyone. Initially, prosecutors charged Mr. Maki with assault, which carries a 90-month prison sentence. Now remember, Mr. Maki's father was hospitalized for about a month and then transferred to a skilled nursing facility. The medical records showed he had healed from the assault. He was stable, though he was physically compromised and mostly bedridden due to the variety of health conditions he had. About 2 months into his residency there, he was found deceased in his bed. Without looking at the body or reviewing his health records, showing he had healed from the assault, the medical examiner concluded Mr. Maki's father died from blunt force trauma and ruled it a homicide. Not stroke, not heart attack, despite the various health conditions. Now Mr. Maki's charges were elevated to murder, which carries a life sentence in prison. During closing, the defense pointed out that assault clearly happened, so convict Mr. Maki of the assault. But given that Mr. Maki's father had healed from the injuries, it didn't constitute murder. Murder is an intentional act. The person must be purposefully trying to cause the death of someone else. So the question for the jury was, if Mr. Maki had really been trying to kill his father, why would he leave him alive? Why would he call 911 at all? And how can we know that the injuries actually led to the death when the medical examiner didn't even examine the body? How can we, beyond a reasonable doubt, conclude what Mr. Maki's father died from? And just because someone is unlikable or an unpleasant person, which is the case with Mr. Maki, it doesn't mean they intentionally tried to kill another human being. The jury found Mr. Maki guilty of murder, and he received a life sentence in prison. His case is now in the appeals status. If you like these stories, please hit like or subscribe. I have full videos on YouTube and training videos on Substack. Thanks for watching.